have a question.
Yes.
So I was wondering, earlier you mentioned that you use a ChatGPT to find out all the information about the company. I was wondering, do you use other AI softwares, and then what do you think AI software can make the business brokers in general more efficient, and what do you think is the danger and worries you?
I think if you're not already using AI as part of your tool chest, that you're behind.
Okay.
So you need to get started. Um, ChatGPT, Gemini, depending on what you're doing, they're very helpful for everything from writing ads, if you're going to put any kind of written narratives or whatever in your Sims, you can do it that way. I use them. So I'm the education chair for M&A Source. I use ChatGPT to help me create the titles for new courses we come out with, the titles and the descriptions of the courses and the course objectives and all of that, because it's just faster and easier. Now, that being said, you don't just cut and paste whatever ChatGPT gives to you. You usually have to get it to be a little, you've got to give it more information. So I personally use ChatGPT. I know some people that really love Claude 3. I haven't used Claude 3. There are others, Gemini is part of my Google stuff, so I use that from time to time. But what I can tell you is that you need to talk to it like you're talking to your assistant. You're asking somebody to do something for you. You need to give it specific instructions on how you want it done, what you want done, how you want it done. Sometimes, telling it what the purpose is, the objective is helpful, and it'll give you all kinds of great information. And then you just tailor it from there. So it's much easier, even like blog posts and things like that. It's much easier to edit something that's already drafted than it is to draft from scratch. It's far less time consuming, right? So yeah, as far as like I said, I keep my Sims super easy now, and so I use a tool called Beautiful.ai to create my Sims,
Hmm.
and it's it'll just create it'll create a presentation. It has an AI thing in there, so I'll say create a business broker pitch deck for a dry cleaning store, and it'll create one. And then I can go just edit that. It'll have pictures and things already in it. I can, so there's a lot. I mean, AI is a tool, it's here to stay. So the way I look at things is if you're building a house and you need to nail a beam into something, or there's a lot of ways to do it. There's a lot of tools out there, right? So you can take a hammer and put the nail. You can take a rock or a wrench or a brick or anything else, but the fastest way is probably a nail gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
AI is your nail gun.
Okay. So what worries you if you use all those AI softwares when you use them?
AI, it's not perfect, and you do have to check up on it. It mixes things up, it gets things wrong. If you don't take the time to read through it and make corrections, and you put something out there, you may come off looking not so smart.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of like immature assistant, I guess.
yeah, it's you need to treat it like an assistant in most respects. I mean, you're not going to have an assistant just do something or just, put an article out with your name on it without you ever reviewing it. Or maybe you would.
Hmm.
So, it's that type of thing. Um, if you had an assistant, a person doing this for you, what would the expectation be? Would you communicate initially what you want, what the objective is, and all that, and then just never even look at it again? Or would you go back and say, okay, what'd you come up with? Yeah, I like this, but I don't like that. Change this, make this simplify this, blah blah blah. So that's really what it comes down to, is just it's a back and forth with the AI, and you can get really phenomenal results very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, I think that Miley has a question about what AI we're using. Was it a beautiful AI, something like that?
Beautiful.ai is something that I use just to create Sims now for presentations. Um, there are other tools. There's actually a kind of cool tool out there I found recently called napkin.ai. So napkin, you can copy and paste text from something and it'll look at the text and it'll give you the ability to create different charts. It'll have a whole bunch of charts it comes up with. So and then you can plug the charts in and copy and paste them into your article or into whatever. So it's a very quick way of making graphics.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of tools out there that are a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, ChatGPT has 100 apps within itself. Yeah. Yeah, ChatGPT has it's got some interesting things. It has a data analyst. So I had one of the things that I was working on was a script that would let me take 3 years of profit and loss statements, drag and drop them over into ChatGPT and have it give me an Excel spreadsheet that had all three of them side by side
Hmm.
for
Okay.
comparative purposes. So, but the issue there is that P&Ls come on depending on what system it came from and whether it's a regular P&L or a comparative P&L. I mean, the formats are all different. So trying to come up with the prompts that will do what you need done can be a little bit tricky sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And,
true.
and then when you're doing 3 years, some of them have different categories. Like you might have 2 or 3 categories on one that are not on the next two. So, or actually on the third. So the first two that it looked at, it didn't have those categories. Now all of a sudden the categories show up and it doesn't know what to do with them. So yeah, there's all kinds of fun things in there.
But Tanya, for the ChatGPT give you the data analyst that option, do we have to pay or the regular one we can use it?
I don't know. I have a subscription. So I mean the subscription is $20 a month. It's not or 30, whatever it is. I have a team subscription because I have my people on it. So I think the team subscription is 30 a month per user.
Yes, thank
I
you.
don't remember, but anyhow, it's yeah, there are different kinds. ChatGPT is also interesting. You can tell it to create images and it'll try. It uses DALL-E, I guess. Um, but the images that it comes up with, they're just not stuff that I would want to use. And it has a really hard time creating an image with any words in it because it'll misspell the words or use kind of gibberish writing or it's really interesting. But it's fun. It's getting better though. I mean, so that's the thing is like these tools are improving every day. So something that doesn't work today might work a month from now.
Oh,
You just
okay.
have to keep going back and trying things.
Yes, thank you, Tanya.
Do you know if ChatGPT or any of these AI programs script social media?
I
Like,
don't know.
get their content from social media at all?
Well, ChatGPT didn't used to have access to the web. I mean, when it first was released in 21 or 20, no, 22, I don't know. I think 22. It only had data that went up through like April of 2021 and it didn't have access to the internet to go look for anything further. Now you can actually put a URL in there and you can click on it. It has a little web icon. You can say, go search the web and find this for me. So it's changed a lot and it's gotten a lot more sophisticated.
Because
As far as whether it scrapes social media, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea how what type of training that they've done with these large learning language models.
yeah, the reason why I asked, because you probably all have heard that Meta is now not fact checking their posts. So that means you can pretty much say anything. If there's one, say news source, I can go out, like say something equally compelling, put it on there. There is no oversight. So if AI is scraping the all of internet looking for relevant information and happens on something that is fake news, and if it's replicated virally, then it would think it's true, right? So, I mean, isn't that how AI works, is to search for relevance? And I'm just really concerned about fact checking. When I go to AI and ask for it to do some tasks for me, search for information, how do I know that what they're providing me is true?
Well, you don't, and sometimes it's not. And I can tell you that there have been attorneys who have been sanctioned in court because they're litigators, and they went to ChatGPT and had to do their legal briefs, and ChatGPT made up some fake cases and gave them the citation, case sites and all of that, and put those in their briefs, and they didn't go check them. So it's your responsibility to go in and verify that information. So now I can tell you ChatGPT now, at least in the version that I use, it will have citation. You can click on a site and it'll tell you what the source of the information was. There's still a lot of sites out there that put out a lot of stuff. And quite honestly, if 10 people see the same car accident, you're going to get 10 different versions of what happened. So everybody's truth is different. So what's true to you might be completely false to somebody else. And so I understand, when you're saying, fake news and all that stuff, fact checking, is something you're fact checking according to who, because everybody's reality is different. So it's true according to who, and then what's their background, what are their filters, what are their, so it can be difficult. And honestly, when you get information, whether it's from a newspaper, a book, a conversation at the supermarket, most people, when they have a conversation, somebody tells them something, they freely pass that along to other people. Oh yeah, I heard this, I heard that. They don't fact check. So I don't really see this as anything different than the way people behave in general. People put stuff out and maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And what I can say is different is the algorithms. And so the algorithms are set up to give you more of what you focus on. So, but kind of that's the energy of the universe too, quite honestly. So if you, something that I learned many, many years ago, put it this way. So the internet to me, it's like going to Caesar's Palace or going somewhere, go to a big buffet, and if you don't want it on your plate, don't put it on your plate. If you don't want it, don't put it on your plate, but you can't go to Caesar's and say, hey, you need to take this out of your buffet because I don't like it. That's not for you to do, right? So focus on what you want, because the internet is going to serve you more of that. Life in general is going to serve you more of that. Focus on what works for you, what you want. And then the rest of it, just move on quickly, because the algorithms are going to know that you were not interested in that. And so they're not going to serve you that anymore, or they'll do less and less, and they'll continue serving you more of the things that you do focus on. Make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.